starts at the very beginning.
The following program was recorded at the ARC Annual Industry Forum in Orlando, Florida. I'm pleased to welcome Editor-in-Chief of Supply Chain Brain, Russell Goodman.
Joining me for a conversation today on product lifecycle management is Dick Slansky, Senior Analyst at ARC Advisory Group. Welcome, Dick.
Russell, glad to be here.
Dick, in product lifecycle management, tell us about the relationship between today's PLM solution sets and the supply chain requirements of companies.
Well, first of all, today's PLM solution sets are very wide in scope. They start with concept, go through design, manufacturing processes, all the way through support, and all of those domains, if you will, are connected in some manner to the supply chain. In other words, the company that is going through the product development process can be connected to their partners, to their outsourced partners, to their suppliers in some manner. So there is an essential connection between the process of the product development, and as it goes through these domains, through the design build process, to the supply chain, in everything that the supply chain entails, the materials, the outsourcing, whatever that may be.
Well, let's delve into that a little bit more. How do these solutions and applications meet the supply chain requirements of a company?
Right. What basically the essential part of PLM is that it is a product development process. So that means that you start with the concept, you go through the engineering design, you go through the manufacturing process. Now, if components of that, or domains, as you go through that process, have to be outsourced, or you have to obtain assemblies, parts, supplies, and so forth, at each part of that, at each juncture in that process, there's probably some connection to a company's supply chain. They're going to have to involve themselves with getting material. They're going to have to involve themselves with their partners and their outsourcing suppliers and so forth to obtain the components and the assemblies and the parts and everything, the materials, everything that goes along with this entire product lifecycle process. So there's an essential link between supply chain and all domains or all phases of the product lifecycle.
Now, earlier when you and I were speaking, I took some notes. You said it was very important that the product development lifecycle processes are integrated with supply chain requirements. Now, why do you say that? What's the importance of that?
Well, it starts at the very beginning when you go through the engineering process, go through the engineering design process. This goes back to the days before they even had CAD and CAM and everything like that in 3D and digital modeling capabilities. Even back to the days when they were designing their parts, designing the product, on a drafting board and so on and so forth. You still had basic engineering requirements. You still had basic version control, change management, things like that. What you are doing at that point is you're developing the materials, the specifications, the parts, the sub-assemblies, everything that goes into this product. It is even at that beginning part of the process that you're starting to connect and integrate with the supply chain. The first thing an engineer does when he sits down to design a part, he does a make or buy decision. Do I make it in-house, or do I buy it someplace? Do I obtain it? Do I outsource it? Whatever. So there's an essential link with the supply chain at the very, very beginning of the product development process.
Now, you also said that collaborative product data management systems enable a company's suppliers and partners to synchronize and integrate the product development lifecycle. Now, why is that? How does that happen?
Today's one essential component of today's PLM is the PDM, the Product Development Lifecycle Platform. And what we're finding today is that this is really expanded in scope also. Essentially what PDM was a part of the engineering process, as what I mentioned earlier, is that you had to be able to manage the changes and the versions and so forth of the parts as from the engineering perspective, and that's what early PDM did. Today, now, that is expanded out to include all the domains of the product lifecycle. It's a sole source, if you will, or a single source of the truth for all the data and all the information for product, for process, for production systems, manufacturing processes, and so on. It is all contained in one single source. And in today's environment, the PDM is a very collaborative, highly collaborative platform where information can be shared across not only just in engineering organizations or manufacturing organizations within the company, but can be shared across all of their partners, their suppliers, and all of the stakeholders in that product development process. So this PDM platform, if you will, is a very highly collaborative platform that enables this degree of the sharing of information, the collaborative process within the product development, and so on.
You indicate that portfolio management, new product development, and introduction are very, very important to supply chain. Walk us through that. Elaborate on that. Tell us why. What's the importance?
Well, portfolio management or new product introduction, new product development introduction are just applications or areas within PLM, albeit pretty important today. Portfolio management is a system of managing the development of the product from the concept through the design, through the manufacturing process, and today they're generally based on some kind of a system that enables them to use a phase gate process. That means that at any point in time, as they move through this process of the product development, they can indicate a go or a no-go. They can even connect themselves in advance to their marketing people. So if they're developing a product, they can begin to look at the market and begin to look at where they're going to fit in the market, and they're going to look at whether or not this is going to be a successful product, and so on and so forth. So it's very important. At the same time, and as you go through this phased development process, which is basically what portfolio management manages, it enables them to get an advance or way of getting this information out to their suppliers, if they are dependent upon on the supply chain for parts, for material, for whatever it may be, so they can sort of give their suppliers and their stakeholders a heads up, and they also it also enables them to end the development process if they make that decision that they're not going to go forward with it. And so this is really all a part of this new product development process. Today, a company, and it depends on what they are, whether they're consumer product goods or whether maybe they make large, they're automotive or something like that, or aerospace. But let's just go back to the CPG industry. 80% of the products that they conceive, they go through the conception phase, never make it to the market. So it's really critically important that they go through a management process like portfolio management and new product introduction to weed out, maybe ahead of time, save themselves a lot of money and a lot of cost and a lot of time, to decide whether or not they're going to actually, bring this product completely to market, save themselves a lot of money, and so forth.
Final question, Dick. You've indicated that a PLM function such as bill of materials, integration with ERP is very, very important in the overall operation of the supply chain. Walk us through that. How is that?
Sure. Generating a bill of materials is one of the essential and fundamental functions of an engineering process, and it's really the beginning of the PLM process. In other words, when a design engineer sits down and starts to design the product and the components and everything that goes into it, he's developing a very comprehensive list of materials and components and parts and so forth, everything that goes into this thing. That is what's called the bill of materials. Now, you have a engineering design bill of materials. You can also have a manufacturing bill of materials that looks at the bill of materials in a little bit different perspective in terms of the producibility of the product and how it may go together and so forth. But at any rate, in the very beginning of this process, of this design build process, it's essential that this bill of materials is integrated to, say, an ERP system, because the ERP system is going to eventually, because it's managing resources and material and the allocation and so forth, essentially what it's going to do at the end of the day is kick out a shop or a factory work order based on that bill of materials. So it's essential that's integrated really up front. Now, because the PLM systems have traditionally always integrated well with the BOM, the bill of materials has integrated with ERP systems, it follows that they can integrate very well with other enterprise systems, supply chain management systems, of course the ERP systems, CRM, whatever, even enterprise maintenance systems and so forth, you know. So it's really interesting how inextricably linked PLM is overall with the entire supply chain process. And today, in today's PLM solution sets, if I could sort of conclude this, is that it is really an essential part of the entire PLM solution, because it enables their companies that have widespread, disparate global operations and a whole range of stakeholders and partners and so forth. They all have to be on the same page, so to speak, and with a highly collaborative PLM system with a wide scope across all the domains that really enables that.
Dick, I'm sure the viewers will agree this is valuable information. Thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Dick Slansky, ARC Advisory Group, speaking with us today about product lifecycle management. Thanks for watching.